Hi folks, hope you're okay today. This is Jason. My website is jasonburnspreacher.com, jasonburnspreacher.com, jasonburnspreacher.com. I just want to give you a mission report about what's been happening in the last week or so concerning my evangelism, and just ask you to pray and just pray really. I value your prayers, value your encouragement, value your support in mission. Um, Last week we went to St Anne's Square, which is near St Anne's Church in Manchester, and we had a really good time there. We had a good team that came out. We had some good conversations with Muslims. I had quite a few good conversations with Muslim women. I was able to give Arabic Gospels out, and we had a fractious atheist who was quite very unkind in their attitude, and yet another atheist came, plus also a passerby who'd seen me preach quite a lot, who I didn't know but really valued my preaching, and they both confronted this atheist. So there was an atheist and a person who um, I don't know where they stood in terms of their faith with God, but they appreciated my preaching, and so they confronted this very unkind atheist. And the other atheist said, "Look, you might not agree with the guy, but to be abusive like that is out of order." So they kind of like challenged this guy, and this guy kind of like backed away, which was quite encouraging really to see people who are kind people who really want to see more respectful kind of dialogue and discussion on the street. So that was good, and that was an atheist that actually stood up for me, so that was good. I had another great conversation with a guy who was a Marxist. It was a brilliant conversation, and we had a very interesting dialogue and discussion together. And so we had a good talk with Muslims, talk with the Marxists. We had that spat with the atheist, and another atheist helped me. And it was a good time. We had a good team, and I was encouraged. Then we went to the back of the cathedral in Manchester, and there's a lot of young people there, and there was a massive crowd that came. There must have been about 80 young people that come around me. Many of them were throwing abuse and being angry and getting upset with me and stuff. But I was able to have quite a few good debates and discussions with some of the young people, and I had a good team with me, and it was a really profitable time. So pray for all those teenagers. I don't know if they're called goths or mockers or whatever they're called, but there was a lot of them. There was a lot of skateboarders. A fight nearly broke out. Uh, there was a skateboard group, and then there were these mockers or whatever they're called. I don't know, goths or whatever. I don't know what they were, but there was a big group of about 50 of them. And one of the skateboarders was upset that the way I was being treated because he felt I was being bullied. So he went and confronted them, and a fight nearly broke out. Anyhow, it calmed down, and everybody was happy. But I really enjoyed it. I really loved those young people, and I just really really had some good conversations with people. A lot of the things that they were saying, though, is it was very difficult to get through to them because a lot of them were saying science has proved Christianity wrong, science, and that's all they were saying. And when I was actually challenging them and saying, okay, you're saying science, but what do you mean by science? And when you're saying science, can you give me some specifics, some concrete details? And a lot of them couldn't engage with me. They were just using it as a way of getting out of the fact that they couldn't actually put any substance to what they were saying. And if any of you young people are listening out there, what you were doing is what is called scientism. And scientism is the belief that the only knowledge valuable is science. Well, that's blatantly wrong. Even science cannot prove science. Science assumes reality, it assumes laws that it cannot really give an account for. So it cannot prove even some very fundamental things that it assumes. So if science was being deconstructed on its own level, it could not prove itself. Okay? That's what the Getty problem was. So if you're a young person and you see me on the street, you need to engage with me. It's not good saying, science says. Give me some specific information, not use science as a buttress to not be able to engage. All right. I was asked a question a few weeks ago by a young woman who had a bit of a skinhead and very creative, intelligent young woman. And she said to me, she said, which I found quite, she said, how can you believe the Bible if you've read philosophy? And what she was implying is, if you've read philosophy, you wouldn't believe the Bible. And I was thinking, well, don't you realize there's been a big movement in academic world where there's a lot of Christian philosophers out there now, and that philosophy of religion has been a new discipline that's grown because of people like Alvin Plantinga, who is a Christian philosopher. So a lot of you young people, you need to know what's going on, and these skeptics are not telling you the truth of what's going on in the academic world. Go to my website, jasonbirdpreacher.com. There's a video at the top about philosophy being growing in the universities, Christian philosophy. So anyhow, it was a good couple of days. I went to Liverpool as well, and last week, and had a big crowd again outside McDonald's. Big crowd, lots of people there. Had lots of discussion. I had a debate with one guy on the resurrection of Jesus, and he couldn't answer the question, so I had to help him. I didn't want to embarrass him. Again, big crowds, lots of opportunity to talk to people. So the crowds are coming, but we need more people to be converted, and we need more people to help in standing with me, talking to the crowds when I finish preaching. And we need more people praying. As for the fellowship, the Reformed Fellowship, Presbyterian Reformed Fellowship, we need some people to join us who are of the same mind. So pray that God would send 4 or 5 men, maybe a couple of families, a couple of ladies that have the same vision, and then it would be more of a viable church plant. But we're just plodding along at the moment. We're having some great times in the Word, great times in the Bible study. So it just needs it's Presbyterian and Reformed now. So it needs a couple of people who are that kind of mindset. And I do think there is a need for people to be brought up in good theology and stuff. So if it's of God, it will go. If it's not of God, it will not go. But whatever denomination you are, whatever, pray for us that it would move forward. At the moment, I believe that we're having good times in the Word of God. We're having good times in prayer. There's only a handful of us. There was a time when we were bursting at the seams in the house that we couldn't get enough people in. There were so many people. But when people find out that we're Calvinist and that we're Presbyterian, and they kind of, because many of them that were coming were more charismatic or of other theological persuasion, they kind of backed off a bit. But so we need people who are more reformed, that will help us to build a church plant. So if you could pray about that, and if it's not God's will, that it would close down, and if it is God's will, that it would prosper and that we'd have more people with us. And it'd be good if it was, and we could plant other churches like that as well, which I think is needed. It'd be great to see a series of Reformed Presbyterian churches planted in the UK. that would be an awesome thing to do. But I can't do that on my own. We need men and women of the same mind who want to see that a reality and who are committed to doing the work. Because I could do the work in terms of door-to-door work and all the rest of it, but I've done that in the past and I've burnt myself out. You need a team. You need a team of at least a handful of people that are going to do that. And we've got people coming to the fellowship, but it's only a handful. And we need more. We need another 5 to 10 people who are committed to it, so that we can rent a building and we can do door to door in the area and stuff like that. So we just ask for your prayer that God will bless. So I just pray that God will continue to send the crowds. Pray that God will send more people to work with me. My team was up to about 11 to 12 people were helping me, and it's gone down to about six or seven. We've had a bit of a difficulty because some people are finding it difficult to handle the crowds. So I've kept it that I work with the people that can deal with the crowds, because it needs people that can keep calm. It needs people that are actually involved in that with you. And we have people that just join us, but they're not actually involved in the preaching or dialoguing with the crowd. And so I've had to cut back a team and make a team smaller because of these crowds, because we're getting such big crowds that I need people that are going to be more stable and more on board in what we're doing. So I need another six or more people to get involved with me, so that we go back up to 11 to 12 people with me, because some of them will not come on the same day, but on different days and stuff. So I just pray that God will send more people to help me and work with me on that, and pray that God will send more people in terms of this church plant fellowship, Reformed fellowship. I've been reading a book by Phillips on the Ten Commandments. I've found that really helpful. I've really enjoyed preaching last Sunday on Romans chapter 5 on the love of God. Really enjoyed that. And I've been supporting some people in the fellowship who need encouragement. I've been trying to just encourage a couple of people who need a lot of encouragement at the moment. And that's it, really. I've got a new car, so that's good. So I can get about more and visit people and do stuff more. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm trying to do a lot of study at the moment. We'll be going down to Hyde Park in about 6 weeks' time. Hopefully, we'll have a team. We've got a team to go down. There's about 4 of us that are interested in doing that trip. So we're looking forward to doing that. This corner in about 6 weeks' time. So if you want to come down with us and join us, you're welcome to do that. I need a camera recorder. If anyone's got an old camera recorder, I need a camera recorder. I want to record these preaching excursions that I do where these crowds come. It'd be nice if I could record them. So if anybody's got any spare camera recorder equipment that they don't want and they can pass on to me, I'd be very grateful. I also I've got a speaker. Someone gave me some money to buy a speaker, which I paid about £100, and it's a big speaker like that, and it's got a mic. But surprisingly enough, even though it's about that big, it's not loud enough, and I'm finding that my voice is beginning to go, and I need to look after my voice. So if anybody's got one of those mics where you put your voice there, and then you have the box here, and then the voice, the sound goes from the box here. If anybody's got one of them and spare somewhere, or you don't want it, will you let me know and pass it on to me? It'd be very, very helpful because my voice is going. So that's recording equipment. If you could pray about that, or if you've got any recording equipment you don't want, or if you want to be a cameraman and come around and be a cameraman for me, I'd be very grateful, because we get in these crowds, and it's a shame that we get in these crowds and we're not recording it, the debates and discussions. It'd be lovely to be able to get them and record them. And sound equipment. My voice is gonna. I'm going to end up being in hospital in the next couple of years if I don't get some proper sound equipment. So if anybody can help me with that, I'd be very grateful. So that's it, really. So thank you. Don't forget my website, jasonburnspreacher.com. I hope you're all okay. I'm fine. I'm doing okay. My love life. Well, I haven't got a lady anymore. I've done a bit of dating. I've gone on a few dates. But they've not been successful. I could tell you some funny stories about these kind of debates, but they've not been successful because I kind of like, I'm beginning to learn and understand that a real relationship has to be based on friendship. And when you're going on dates, once you give people time to be themselves, you begin to see where their real motives are. You begin to see what they're really like. And so what I've been doing is not been rushing into a relationship. I've just been going on dates and then just taking my time just to see where they're at. And when you do that, you kind of see that maybe they're not suitable, you know. So yeah, so I don't I don't plan going on any dates in the near future. I'm sure that the Lord will send me a wife if I need a wife. But the dates were interesting. They were fun. Yeah. The key word is caution. Be cautious, and to take your time, and not to rush into anything, and to try and build a friendship. And that's what I've tried to aim at. And when I do that, that's when you see whether they're genuine or not, or whether they're suitable or not. So so that's my love life. It's you know, it's not there at the moment. So that's me. All right. Hope you're okay, and love to everybody out there. And have a lovely day. God bless you. Take care. This is Jason. Value your prayers. Please keep praying. There are people out there that must be praying. There are people praying. And things are happening because people are praying. So keep praying. God bless you. Take care. God bless.